Cinderella. Yeah, I got nothing. Look, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. Cinderella is a story that has just never really resonated with me. Like, in general. It's a sweet enough fairy tale that just so happened to have never grabbed me in any significant way. And Disney's Cinderella changed nothing about that. At least the 2021 version with James Corden was memorable. It's a terrible movie, but that's kind of why it's my favorite, to be perfectly honest with you. It is god-awful, and we all know why. I'll never forget James Corden air-humping some dude in order to promote that movie, all while we wish some red hat-wearing trucker meant what he said on Facebook and barreled on through him. It's terrible, but at least it left an impression on me, you know? Which is more than I can say about really Cinderella as a whole, as, again, it just never resonated with me. I don't care about it, and that includes the original 1950 classic. It's a movie that exists, and that's all I have to say about it. I recognize its significance and even importance to Disney as a whole, as without it, we probably wouldn't even have Disney nowadays. But as it is, I'm sorry to say this, it's just not that good of a movie. It's harmless, and it does have its charming moments, but golly, this movie is just a heap and plate of nothing. Nothing? It's just Diet Tom and Jerry skits for almost half of the movie. I mean, it takes the movie 25 full minutes just to get the main focus of the film, the ball, to be even brought up for the first time. When it actually does focus on the Cinderella stuff, it's fine, just very average and typical. Nothing spectacular, save for the animation. The only thing I really liked about that movie was Lady Tremaine. Definitely the best part of the movie by far. I love me a good old petty bitch, especially one voiced by Eleanor Audley, who would go on to voice Maleficent, my evil queen of darkness for all of eternity. I also noticed that was Verna Felton doing the fairy godmother, who went on to voice Flora in Sleeping Beauty 2, alongside other characters in classic Disney as well. That's neat. Other than that, this is just a story I have no real passion for whatsoever, and the same can be said about the live-action remake. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I was kinda hoping you wouldn't vote for this one in that poll I put on my community tab a few weeks ago. I was really hoping I'd get to tear apart Dragon Ball Evolution again. But apparently to a lot of you, this is actually a good one. Sure. I mean, yeah, I guess. Look, I don't know what you want me to say. I know you want me to agree with you, but here's the thing. If you say the movie's good, then not only are you entitled to your opinion, but I would even say you're right. It is a good movie that I just so happen to still don't care about. This is a movie that, no matter how well directed it is, or acted, or even written that it is, will never be for me. And I know that's a very subjective thing to say. Like, what do you mean it's not for you? Well, let me put it to you this way. Is anyone out there actually interested in my thoughts on Dragon Ball? Apparently not, since whenever I do make a video on Dragon Ball, it never does well, hence why I don't make videos on Dragon Ball despite my love for it. Or, hey, how about my love for heavy metal music? Anyone interested in that? No? Well, that's my point right there. That stuff might not appeal to you, and that's fine. Cinderella doesn't appeal to me. Period. I don't find Cinderella in general to be an interesting character. She's likable enough, but she never goes through any significant development or change that makes watching her fun. She's just a sweet, nice girl from start to finish, which for some people is enough to make a good role model, and I can respect that. It's kind of like Goku to me. Sure, he doesn't go through a whole bunch of development himself, and he's just a good guy who wants to protect his planet and family. We all have these role models who are just that, and that's perfectly fine. Cinderella just isn't mine, and this movie doesn't really do much to change that. I will admit it does more to establish why she's like that, which is nice. We do have some genuinely nice scenes in the beginning with her original mother and father before they die, and it's genuinely very sweet, and you can feel there's a lot of heart put into it, you know? This is a very well directed and acted movie. Everyone is giving it their all, especially Cate Blanchett, who is just perfectly cast as Lady Tremaine. This woman just chews every scene she's in and oozes pure bitchiness, and I love it. Like the original, she's the best part of the movie, and I love it. In fact, I feel like this movie just really nailed the casting on every character. From Lily James as Cinderella to Richard Madden as Prince Kit, which, by the way, thank you Lord above for giving the prince an actual name. Helena Bonham Carter comes back for another one of these remakes. That was a nice surprise. Honestly, just really good casting and acting all across the board. There was this one scene where the prince was watching his father die, and I don't know, I could just feel the genuine passion and heart both actors were giving to each other. It was probably my favorite scene in the whole movie, honestly, and it's a very well-directed movie too. Like, damn, I forgot that these live-action remakes could at least look good. It's nothing too fancy, but it's very elegant and subtle, which makes sense considering this movie was directed by Kenneth Branagh, aka Gilderoy Lockhart. He also directed both Henry V and Hamlet too. And the first Thor movie, fun fact. There are also some changes to the story that actually do work at making it better. Like, yeah, it stays true to the original, like the prince never learns what her name is until the end, and they use the glass slipper to track her down. But for starters, the prince actually knows what she looks like, and is able to tell who she is just by looking at her. He also goes himself to find her, which, like, yeah, why didn't he just do that in the original? It would have saved so much time. They apply common sense to the story while also staying true to it in a way that feels very natural. So, yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is a live-action remake that actually takes the opportunity to see the flaws of the original and works to improve upon it. That's what these movies should have been doing in the first place. Sure, the other remakes make changes, but they mostly either make no real difference at all or simply make the story worse or more convoluted. This might be the only one of its kind. I haven't seen all the remakes at this point in time, mind you, but this might be the one live-action remake that's actually better than the animated counterpart. At least it tells the story of Cinderella from start to finish and doesn't lose focus on Tom and Jerry's shenanigans on the side. Now, that's not to say the movie is perfect or even great. While it is an improvement over the original, it still has its own flaws, and one problem I feel it does have is that it does play itself almost too straightforward. Like, this movie introduces some new ideas, which are good, but I feel like this movie could have done more, you know? Like, maybe do something with the stepsisters, like what Cinderella 3 did with Anastasia, and give them more than just their basic brattiness. The movie also randomly introduces this subplot in the last 30 minutes where Lady Tremaine meets up with this duke and hashes out a plan to marry off her daughters and keep Cinderella locked up forever. And I'm just like, you guys do realize the movie's almost over, right? A little late for this, don't you think? Yeah, it doesn't really go anywhere, and I guess just serves as a reason to have a consequence for the mother and the daughters. I don't know, it just felt kind of pointless if you ask me. On top of that, they also try to give more reason to Lady Tremaine's cruelty. Like, apparently she did love Cinderella's father, but never really felt like she was his real wife, so after he died, she looked at Cinderella as a reminder of that, and I just never bought it. Like, what's wrong with her just being a petty bitch? She's jealous because Cinderella's young and beautiful, that's all you really need. It's not like she goes through a redemption in the end anyway, so what's the point of that? Yeah, other than that, this is actually a pretty good movie. I can't believe we managed to find a remake that actually surpasses the original. Although to be fair, the original wasn't that good to begin with, so it wasn't really hard. Like I said, I don't really have much else to say about this movie. It's good, but on a personal level, I still don't care. And it's not like this movie or the original did anything to piss me off. I just don't care about it. I don't really care about either movie, to be frank. It just is what it is. I'm fully capable of acknowledging this movie's strengths and how it actually tried, which is more than I usually get from these remakes, so there's that. I 100% understand why people say this is actually a good one. But guys, the direct-to-video sequel was better than the original. This is not a huge accomplishment. This is just a good movie at the end of the day. Like, 7 out of 10. Good job, guys. You did good. And that's all I really have to say about it. Now, compared to the 2021 version with James fucking Corden in it, now that I could talk about for hours because I at least remember it. Maybe I'll review that Cinderella in the near future because I definitely feel more passion for it than Disney ever will. Regarding Cinderella, I mean. It might be genuine cringe capable of killing a fully grown bull elephant, but it's something. So I'll wrap this up by saying Cinderella is probably the best movie I've ever seen that I don't give a single shit about in any possible way and will never watch again. But hey, maybe you'll like it. Maybe you already do, and you're about to make a comment saying that I wasted my time with this video, and I'm an asshole, despite the fact that I still said it was good anyway. And I still won't care anyway.
I've been searching for a piece of me. I've been counting on the heads of time. I love my body, I love my mind.
Feathers been calling, my enemies stalling, my people been balling, my team we been wildin'. Counted 100, we use basic tools. Strategies moving where we gotta move. There wasn't no option, no time on the clock, and no setting it back, and we gotta get profit. I'm standing on top of the glory, the road. We was just rebels, ain't do what was told. When they asked me how we love.